popping in and off because I want to post the live session once it gets going. Okay, so here we are. We'll do some introductions. Okay, you know me. We talked yesterday, and we have one student here.
I'm Emma Bogish.
Oh, where are you from, Emma?
I'm from Bethany, Connecticut. I'm homeschooled.
Very good. Okay, and then we have our other student.
I'm Lauren Riley. I'm a 10th grader at Knox High School.
So.
Cool. Very nice to meet you. I'm Annabelle. I run a non-profit for education called Big Fun Education, and it's quite a big name to live up to. I have to make it fun.
And where are you again?
I'm actually in Madison, Connecticut.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah. I could have come over, but I chose not to.
No, this is great because then when you're done, you get to go up and you're home already.
Well, there's that, and then there's the value of having it recorded.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, which is true for the classroom visit as well. I'm beginning to think that a virtual visit with somebody in a classroom can be as much, if not more valuable, because you can play it over and over again with kids. You know, after that person has actually left the building. In fact, that's what kids in my project are doing. We have, my project is called Macbeth Goes Social, and I have a grant from a place in Texas, and I've created a digital play, an online play, a radio play, if you like, with all sorts of embedded stuff. And now I'm bringing that into, gosh, I think we're in 5 countries. We have about 400 children in the project around the world. And it's sort of like an improv. I don't know if you guys are into drama at all, but, you know, when you do an improvisation, there are just a few basic rules of it. One is you have to show up. 2, you know, in other words, you have to agree to get involved and then actually show up. Mm-hmm. And then you basically have to say yes. You can't start arguing and tearing people down. You've got to accept what they are, what they're saying, and recognize their skills, and then try and build on it. And then the final thing is that the task is to make each other look good. So I think those are nice rules for living.
Absolutely.
So I think, you know, living is an improv, isn't it? We never know who's going to show up in the room. Didn't know you guys were going to be here, but here we are. Let's, you know, let's build on it. So that's the spirit of my project, and I'll show you how people signed up. It's basically Google powered. It's you know, not a Google form that people found, and then they opted in. And I have a very quick 2-minute Powtoon for you. I've tried to really avoid emails because that is a pretty closed system. I'm really trying to open this up. I'm trying to get it so that kids and teachers are not afraid of the social media space. Is there something happening I should know there?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to plug in Ian's laptop. I need to power it up.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Should I wait?
No. Keep going. You're good.
Okay. So I realize that people's attention spans are very short. Kids are used to YouTube. Kids like YouTube. And while, you know, schools are not there to simply entertain, I think we have to admit that the world goes faster these days, and people get almost, the kids, bored by doing one thing. It just doesn't seem like enough. So we're trying to be very open and flexible and let kids choose their activities as much as possible. Let me try and screen share, and I'll give you the 2-minute. So that was by way of saying that I'm trying to do, instead of emails telling people what's going on, I create like a 2-minute Powtoon. Let's see. So here it goes.
Can you click on the track on the picture, then we can see her.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, so that gave you, hang on, let me just get back in. Sorry.
You're back.
Okay, good. So that gave you a 2-minute sense of how we're doing it through social media.
So many different platforms to use.
Yep. That was 2 weeks ago. We have 2 more countries since then who've joined, Argentina and Spain. So as I said, it's an improv. Some of the kids, they have Italian as a first language, Spanish as a first language, Arabic as a first language, Chinese as a first language. And we're going to be doing multilingual productions of scenes and filming and coaching within a Hangout, that sort of thing. So the next thing I want to show you is that this has been week 1. We're in the middle of it now, if you manage to catch the dates there. This is the end of week 1 for us. Mm-hmm. And the kids have been using the digital play that I created. So I just wanted to give you a sense of it, because people, when I say digital play, they have no idea really what I'm talking about. So let me just screen share it very quickly. Are you seeing that?
Yes. Hold on.
So she's not talking. We're making notes from what we said.
It was there. It's not there now.
Okay, let's do that.
There we go.
You can see it?
Yes.
Yep. So this is a play that's online. It's been given out to all the kids. It's actually available on Edmodo. We're going to be putting a whole series of these plays, and each play is actually a suggested text in the Common Core Appendix B. So it is Common Core friendly. And this is just give you a quick sense of it. The reading level is very, very low, look. Mm-hmm. It goes for 29 minutes. It's sort of an onboarding activity, if you like, but also we never know who's using it. So for someone whose first language is Chinese, this is quite challenging. And they're not going to be doing you know, the original anytime soon. However, we do embed original texts and all sorts of things. So let me just show you roughly what I mean. Might be a little bit slow coming through actually, but I call that points of entry. You can get into it any way you like. I'll just show you images to talk about, another Common Core thing.
Yes, very much.
And the guy who's reading the stage directions is actually the CBS news anchor for Connecticut, Kevin Hogan.
Act 1, Scene 1.
You might recognize his voice.
In Scotland, 3 witches enter running. They join hands and circle very fast while counting to 10 silently. At 10, they stop. They are weird.
You and me, we...
Okay, so there's that. Then there's things like this. If the teacher not everyone is a drama specialist and you don't quite know what to do after you've heard a page of text. So we have questions there that might start conversations, or if you see the room is losing attention, you know, you don't know what kind of a day it is that they've had. Maybe they need to have a more active, you know, experience. So you could just cut straight in after you've heard this one page, pause it, get into conversations here. Throughout, there are, if you click on the Stanislavski icon, there's all sorts of acting exercises. And you'll notice that we've color-coded vocabulary. Everyday language is green, academic is blue, and domain-specific, I think, was red. So we give a context-related description of the word, not simply a definition.
So the vocabulary is already tiered.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So look for here, for example, academic words, rebellious, right? So I don't need to go through any more of that, but just to say that we also embed non-fiction passages in there. So, you know, literature, history, geography, science, you know, all of that kind of thing. It's all optional. It's just a click. We find that sometimes the kids are interested. The teacher doesn't have time within school. And also you can find that kids are interested in things you didn't know they were interested in because you didn't have time to discover it. But they'll say, oh, I clicked on that, and then they come back and the teacher goes, oh, very interesting. Would you like to talk to the class about it, etc. Refrigeration and wasted feast ties in with something I'm going to show you in a sec. So that's the basic idea of the digital play. Let me see if I can get back out. It's 10:21. Okay, I can skip to the most highly produced Hangout if you're interested in seeing. I'm not quite sure what your focus is. If you're interested in seeing what I've done with Hangouts, for instance,
that would be amazing.
Or if you're interested in the process itself, it's just. The teacher, let me just say briefly, the teacher in South Carolina who has 12th graders who, you know, they've almost checked out of school. You know, a couple of them are enlisted in the Air Force. They don't really care about Macbeth. However, she had some friends in Glasgow in Scotland who were willing to record the first 12 lines of the play with Glaswegian accents.
Oh, very nice.
So we thought, well, that would be fun. So I put that and made it into a film with sound effects and visuals. We played that in a Hangout to the kids. They liked that. It went 1 minute. They could pay attention, you know. So they listened to that, and then I came into a Hangout and coached them to do the same thing. And then we're going to put their soundtrack of their reading into the film that we had with the other visuals, so it looks like, you know, it's their own personal film. And we had a lot of fun with that, and through that discussion, I realized that something I hadn't noticed before is that the witches in there, everyone likes the witches, but when we talked about how to read it, we discovered really that the witches were bullies. They were messing with Macbeth. They didn't care. They wanted to see him get hurt. They wanted to see him go off the right path. And the more we talked about that, they became serious. I said, no, these are evil people. You can enjoy it. It's a point of view. And drama is a fabulous way to really bring to life point of view. Play evil. What does evil do? How does evil sound? What does evil say? And it's these three witches bullying this one soldier who's tired. He's just come off the battlefield. And they get him when he's vulnerable. So, and then his wife has a go at him and verbally abuses him. And the next thing we know, Macbeth is turning into a bully. So, you know, out of this kind of social medium came great discussion. And so that's been part of it. We've done Hello Hangouts where I've talked to kids about I said that one question that went over well was I said to kids, what do you do when no one's telling you what to do? In other words, what has already captured your imagination? What do you love? Do you have any passion? And they told me so many things. Kids love telling you what they care about. And one kid who was way at the back thought this was going to be as boring could be. But when I said that, he came forward and he said he likes designing tattoos. So I said, well, that's very interesting. Could you do a tattoo for every character in the play?
Oh, wow. Great.
Now he's not like this, you know, looking bored at me. Suddenly I'm a human. I'm talking to him. We're getting in the real world, although it's not the real world.
And through the Hangouts, right? So you were face-to-face now?
Through the Hangouts. And you can literally see the body language of this kid changing. And it's very interesting. And I think when they play it back, he'll even see it himself. You won't have to say it. To begin with, he was closed. He was one of these kids. You know, it's very hard to communicate with one of those.
Yes.
Then he like the improv, you show up, you're present. You know, you give respect. This is someone's time. And all those messages came through because it was a limited hangout. I was not going to be there all day for them like their teacher, you know, who appears there live one day, you know, 5 days a week or something. So don't bother listening to her. She'll tell us again tomorrow. It wasn't that. And I think that it brings kids into a high alert mode. And they realize this is a precious opportunity. They better pay attention. And so anyway, he said, well, how will I get my design ideas? And I said, well, I'm afraid you've got to read the play. So he laughed. He knew I'd got him. But he's going to be reading speeches. He wants to do them for Macbeth and the Murderers. So he's going to be picking out words he already liked, the word reckless. And, you know, he wants to design that word. I think that's fabulous. I want to get him in a hangout to talk about those designs and how he came about, you know, doing them. Maybe we can get a tattoo artist into the hangout to talk about, you know?
Yeah, no, just from using that, just from using Hangouts, you were able to engage that student, which, you know, is such a huge issue in today's world.
Right, and you know, it always seems irrelevant to them, and school is always boring. Well, maybe school is boring. You know, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. The world isn't boring. You can't say the world is boring. And if you bring the world into the classroom through Hangouts, no excuses. Pay attention.
No, and the way that you've worked this program, you know, it's just stepping up this classic literature to what the students need. It's not painful.
I hope not. I mean, you know, we all have our moments of pain, and we're not robots. We can't work on other people's schedules entirely. But this has generated a lot of interest. So, for instance, when the kids in Italy heard that there was a kid in South Carolina designing tattoos, they're interested. They wanted to watch the Hello South Carolina hangout that we did to get to know those kids. And now they're a little bit more inclined to collaborate with them because they've seen them. They've seen them talk. They've seen them say what they care about. Right. If you're going to come on and be a boring person, people aren't going to really lean in and want to, you know, collaborate with you. And so, and that's a real world lesson right there. You know, the attitude that some take in school just isn't going to wash outside the classroom walls. You know, the rest of the world is not there to tap dance for you. You've got to bring something to the table.
Right.
So I think, yeah, all of this gets communicated. To show you very quickly, I know we're at 10:27, but I wanted to just show you now that there's something that's going beyond the hangout. It's called a produced hangout. I don't know if you've come across this yet.
No.
Okay, so let me. This was week 1. We, as well as doing all sorts of workshops. Like I've got a kid from the Yale Drama School who's going to be doing theatre games with kids around the world, you know, in a workshop. I've got Lady Macbeth from my production who's going to do a table reading inside a hangout with kids. Tons of different things. But then my most ambitious one happened, I think it was Tuesday, yeah. And this is called a produced hangout. And what I wanted to do was, I thought, we've got a big mixture of people here, time zones, languages, cultures, ages. I thought, what is the one thing that we all have in common? Eating, right? We all love to eat.
Absolutely.
Some of us like to cook, but mostly we all enjoy food. We get that. So, and it brings the barrier down. It's like it's very relatable. So, of course, there's a feast in Macbeth. And, you know, mostly Macbeth is approached, you know, as poetry instead of drama, but that's another whole conversation. But it's usually approached so seriously, and it's a turn-off. So I wanted to go the other way and approach it through the stomach or through the senses and say, okay, fine, there's a feast. Okay, fine, there's a ghost. Macbeth is getting crazy. The wife is angry. But what did they eat? Who, you know, what were they making for the Macbeths that night? What was on the table?
Right.
So that brings up a lot of things. So we have two master chefs, one from Trinidad who specializes in spices, and that was the way that they preserved food in Shakespeare's day. So he's an expert in spices. And then we have a chef in England who is homeschooling 4 children. They speak 3 languages, English, French, and Arabic. And she brought her kids in. The 2 girls wanted to dress as witches. Again, improv. Do it. Bring your joy to this. Do it. And then we brought in a dramaturg from the Yale School of Drama. So I just want to play you a couple of minutes because this looks very different, a produced hangout. And tell me, Catherine, when do you want me to stop? Is it 10:35 or?
Yes, 10:35.
Okay, so let me just show you a tiny bit of this. I think you might find it interesting. Hope so. The graphic here, for example, can you see it yet?
Yes.
Okay, that graphic, to show you the generosity and the culture of Google+. I think that's fabulous, that graphic. And that was donated by someone on Google+ who saw what I was doing and just, you know, wanted to help.
Oh, I could see the YouTube page. I can't see the graphic that's on the...
This is what I'm calling a graphic. Can you see the red hand over the crown?
No.
Okay, let me come back again.
There we go, yes.
Yeah, it's that. Oh, so if I do the enlarge, you can't see it? Okay, so I'll keep it small then. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and we had 3 countries here. We have Argentina, England, and students in Maine. On education. And we're going to be talking about the Scottish play today. I'm going to try very hard not to say the name of the play. And that's because we're sort of in a virtual theatre here right now. It's live, we're people, we're playing different roles, we have different parts. So it's sort of like a theatre. And the tradition is that if you say the name of the play, you get bad luck. So I don't want us to have any bad luck this morning. I'm going to try hard to call it the Scottish play. So we've all looked at the play a little bit and we know there's a feast in there. And other things happen in that scene. It's dramatic. There's, you know, there's a ghost and Lady Macbeth is angry. So I couldn't be more thrilled to have the English here. I'm also American, so I'm equally delighted to have students here from Maine, East Coast. Let's hear it for the East Coast, America. Yeah, fantastic. Look at that. 5th graders. Brilliant. I used to teach 5th grade. I love that age. And last but definitely not least, we have, for your pleasure, students from Argentina.
Of being knocked down and rebuilt by invading kings from England and from Scotland. And so we think in the 1000s, when the real King Macbeth was alive, the castle was more like a fort. So this is a Pictish fort. Pict, that's a fun word, Pict. Those were Pict. That was an ancient Scottish tribe, and this is the kind of place where they lived. So you can see this isn't a big stone fortress. This is much more wood and straw, and so it's actually much easier to knock down and invade than we think of it as being.
We have about 400.
Hello England! Hello Argentina! Hello USA!
So is this something, Annabelle, that you had edited after doing the Hangouts with all of these different...
No, it's a produced Hangout. It went out live this way. It's broadcast through Wirecast.
Okay.
And the kids, just to very quickly show you, at the end the kids made Pilot's Thumb, which was a thematic dessert that was fair and foul, and then they tasted it. We just had a blast. See if I can find an image of the Pilot's Thumb. And Larry there is the chef from Trinidad. We gave the kids vocabulary and ingredients and recipes ahead of time. Let me see if I can just find the image that I was looking for. There it is. So that gives you a view. Can you see me?
I can see you, yes.
Yeah, so I got out of the video.
Yes.
Just to finish up, because it's 10:35.
Thank
So that just gives you a little sense of you know, what we are doing. And all of that is archived on Big Fun Education YouTube channel.
It's an amazing project and resource. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a wonderful day there.
We appreciate it. You too. Enjoy your day.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.